Hi everyone and welcome to Astar's Sewing School. We've done all the hard bits and now we are ready to produce a beautiful garment. Now when you look at the instructions, they are so clever. They tell you that that front section has to be joined to this section. Now it's so simple. If you get lost, just refer to your pattern pieces, and if you're stuck you can just go, okay, what was that bit called again? That's right, it's called the front and it's section A, and it tells you how many you needed to cut out. All of our, everything will have been transferred across. So I know that that is the front section. And sometimes if you're really lucky, they will have a 1 there and a 2 there, or they'll put the pattern pieces on. If you think that you're going to be a little bit confused, just go through and put it down. But it definitely states here, with right sides together, pin front to side front, matching large dots. Stitch leaving seam open between the large dots. Back stitch at large dots to reinforce. So what they're talking about there are those marks there, and when we transferred those over, it actually had the markings, so there they are, there and there, so they match onto that section there. And then for this front section here, there those little knots, those little marks are there and there, which I've transferred over. Okay, right, getting rid of all of this so that we can get into it. Now they said with right sides together. Right, let's get rid of that and let's get this panel. So that is my right side. I know it's my right side because on the reverse I've got my markings. Okay, so it's just a matter now of looking at, now I've got that little mark there and I've got that little mark there. So going up to there, you'd make sure that those two there are really neat and tidy together, and then it's just a matter of pinning there. Now pinning is my best friend, and I would rather spend the time now and do the pinning than to actually make it up and find that it just doesn't work. Okay, then bring that down to there. See, they're so clever. Bring that to there and then pin that in to there. They said to go down here and then to bring my markings together. So there's my mark there. Let's go through to there, and there is my mark there. Now I'm just going to have to adjust that ever so slightly, but that and that have to match together. And then let's come down to here and let's hope, see, that's just a little bit out, so we'll just move that across to there, pin that, and then I go down to the bottom and make sure that those two edges are absolutely together as well. Then it's just a matter of putting another pin there, pin. It is the best way forward. Now we've got this little area here where you've got a curved area, so what you're now going to have to do is to just bring those together like that, and then bring that one there together. So what you're now going to do is you're going to pin all of those together, so that's that panel. And they also say once you've done that, you've got to do both sides. So that is going to be the front of my cape, and that there is going to be my back. And for my arm, that's what they meant by sewing and bringing those little marks there and there together. So once this is done, then my hand will go through there. It's going to be very cool and groovy. So there's two of those that you have to do. The other one that you have to do, get rid of that, is the back. Right, what does it say for the back? With right sides together again. So there is my right side. I know that that's my right side because I've got my markings there. Usually, if I'm ever sort of stuck and I can't tell with the fabric, what I do is I put like a little, use a bit of chalk and I'll put wrong side. So that's my right side, and then it's a matter of bringing the two back fronts together. Now, this is where I have to be very careful and make sure that they're in. Now that I've got that little mark there, or that little notch there, I don't have one on this side. Oh dear. This means that we have to go to the other side, and yes, you see, I've got another one there, but I don't have, and I've got that mark there, but I don't have that mark there. About now we start to panic, and we just very quietly unwind ourselves, look at the pattern again, and then think, okay, why is that there? Why is that not matching? Now, I'll tell you why that's not matching, because when we go to here, what you're going to discover is, look, there it is there. So if I hadn't checked, I could have been sewing that onto there, and the whole thing would have been out of whack. So that is actually going to go onto there. So now, see how it joins there? But before, that's not supposed to be on here. So what I now have to do is to very quietly go through my fabric and find it. So there's another one. So, there we go. See, now that is to go to another panel. So here we have the bit that I was looking for. And I know that I'm right because there's nothing down there, but there's a little notch there and there's a notch there. So I know that that bit and this bit go together. And as you're going along, make sure that you do have all pieces, because I tell you what, it can be the most frustrating thing. Now, the other thing is, you'll see that I've got those wee dots there. The reason I've got those dots there is because when I was transferring my markings, I actually was told in the cutting guide to do those to the front sections only. So this is the back section. So that was actually a bit of a waste putting those in there, and that could have caused a bit of confusion. But it's okay because before we did anything, we check. So now what you're going to do is we'll just pin across there like that. I'll quickly do this because I think that it's quite important that you see how this all works. Now make sure that those edges are edge to edge all the time, and then pull that out like that, and then let's get this other section in, and we'll make sure that we've got that right too. Yes, we have. Look at that. See? I haven't got a notch there. There's nothing there, but there's that little notch. The markings there and the markings there. And what I should really have done is to have put this into red so that you can see, but never mind. So that gets pinned all the way along there, and it's really lovely at this stage because you can actually start to see how it's all coming together. Now where's my notch? There's my notches. Make sure that they're all neat together. And I tell you what, you might be thinking, oh, could I be bothered doing this? But I tell you what, it's just so easy once you've learned how to sew. And I had some extra fabric left when I was making this, so I quickly whipped up this little top. This top cost me about $6. So, you know, at least I know that I've made it myself, which makes me feel happy. The other thing that makes me feel happy is that some little girl in a sweatshop somewhere in the world isn't having to make something that I'm going to be able to pick up here for, say, $6 or $7. You know, because that sort of doesn't sit very well with me. Mrs. Green, Mrs. Look After the Planet, and Mrs. Let's just not have people in the world struggling. Okay, so there we have it. Ta-da! Look at that, all pinned up. I'll turn it this side so that you can see it. And let's just make sure, there we are, that's your back there. This here I haven't put the interfacing on because I always like to put the interfacing on the lining, which I've done, which we'll look at in due course. So let's just look at the pattern. There's the pattern, there's that back section there, and that's that section there, and that section there. Perfect, ready to go. So now what we need to do, before I see you again, if you're up to this stage with anything that you're doing, from now, the next thing that we have to do is to sew down here. Now, for those of you who are new to it, the instructions will tell you to what seam allowance, whether it's a centimetre or 1.5 centimetres, but you just sew down there, and you're going to start there, you're going to back stitch, and you're going to go all the way along there. If you in any way get lost or don't think you can do it, when I first started sewing, and I've had this for a squillion years, what I do is I use this as my gauge, and what I do is I'll go down and I'll mark so that I know exactly. So that there, where that red mark there is, that would be my seam allowance. Every seam has to be absolutely perfect. You can't have one 1.5 and one 1 centimetre because the whole thing will be out of whack. So anyway, get all this done, follow the instructions piece by piece, step by step, easy, and then do your lining. And then next week when I see you, we're going to put the whole, I shouldn't say next week because it might just be in a couple of minutes when you finish seeing this, but I'm filming a week in advance of you guys. So once you've done all of that, next week when you come back, what we're going to do is we're going to put the whole thing together, and it's going to be fantastic. So thanks for watching. Thank you to my sponsor Spotlight here in New Zealand and Australia. I hope I've been of assistance. If you want to know what I'm doing, just follow me on the Facebook and you'll see all the exciting things that are coming up. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day.